The Strait of Hormuz is one of those places in the world that most people never think about, yet their daily lives are quietly connected to it. It is a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. On a map, it looks small, almost insignificant. But in reality, it carries one of the biggest responsibilities on Earth. Nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through this single point every day. That means everything from fuel prices to transportation costs to global inflation is somehow connected to this narrow strip of water. And here's the strange part. Most people don't even know it exists. But global leaders, economists, and energy markets, they watch it constantly because if anything goes wrong here, the impact is not local. It becomes global and within hours. But if you actually travel there, the first thing you notice is not tension. It is silence and heat. Extreme heat that slows everything down. Life does not rush here. It adapts, then you see Hormuz Island. And it does not look like a normal place on Earth. The landscape is covered in colors that feel almost unreal. Deep reds, bright yellows, orange cliffs, and purple layers stacked across the hills. It looks like nature painted it with intention. But this beauty is not random. It is ancient. These formations were created over millions of years through volcanic activity, ocean pressure, and geological transformation. Every layer in those hills represents time, fire, water, movement, and silence. Standing there, you don't feel like you are looking at land. You feel like you are looking at history itself. But life here is not easy. The heat can be overwhelming. During midday, everything slows down. Work stops, movement reduces. The world here follows the rhythm of nature, not human schedules. People wake up early, work in the cooler hours, pause during the heat, and return again in the evening. It is not luxury, it is adaptation. Homes are built with thick walls, small windows, and natural ventilation systems designed to survive the environment. Nothing is unnecessary here, and that alone teaches something powerful. Survival is not about having more, it is about using what you already have correctly. Now look at the sea. Massive oil tankers move through these waters every single day. From a distance, they look like floating cities, each one carrying energy that powers countries thousands of miles away. At the same time, just nearby, small fishing communities continue their daily routines. Two completely different worlds, sharing the same water. One represents global power, money, and industry. The other represents simplicity, survival, and tradition. And yet, they exist side by side. That contrast is what makes this place so unique. Even the ocean here is different. The water is warmer than many other seas around the world, and yet, coral reefs still survive, not because conditions are ideal, but because life adapts. As some species disappeared long ago, others evolved to survive heat, pressure, and change. It is nature's simplest rule: adapt or vanish. But today, that balance is becoming fragile. Pollution, oil risks, and rising temperatures are slowly putting pressure on this ecosystem. And when an ecosystem like this starts to break, it doesn't break quietly, it spreads outward. A short distance away, there is something even more surprising: a forest that grows in salt water. In normal conditions, trees would not survive here, but these trees have evolved. They filter salt through their roots and release it through their leaves. It is not just survival, it is adaptation at its highest level. This forest is also critical for marine life. It supports fish, protects coastal biodiversity, and maintains the entire food chain. If it disappears, the impact would go far beyond trees. It would affect the ocean itself. Now zoom out again. Back to the Strait of Hormuz, a passage so narrow, yet so important, that even the smallest disruption can affect global markets. This is why it is constantly under observation, because here geography becomes power. But the people who live here do not see it that way. They are not thinking about global politics every day. They are thinking about fishing, about weather, about survival. And that is where the real contrast of Hormuz exists. Global pressure versus local simplicity. Millions of barrels of oil passing through. And a fisherman wondering if today's catch will be enough. Both realities exist in the same place, but they rarely meet. Time here feels slower. Heat, wind, and sea currents set the rhythm of life. Sea temperatures are rising, pollution is increasing, and ecosystems like this are becoming more vulnerable every year. People adjust instead of resisting. But the bigger question remains, how long can this balance hold? Because the world is changing. Sea temperatures are rising, pollution is increasing, and ecosystems like this are becoming more vulnerable every year. In places like Hormuz, even a small shift can create a chain reaction. If coral reefs decline, fish populations fall. If fish populations fall, communities are affected. If coastal forests disappear, entire ecosystems weaken. Everything is connected, slowly, mountainly, but permanently. And that is why the Strait of Hormuz is not just a place on a map. It is a warning. A reminder that the modern world is built on systems that are deeply connected, yet incredibly fragile. We often think of distance as safety, but places like this prove otherwise because even if you are thousands of miles away, what happens here eventually reaches you.